Imagine life being like this bowling alley, and the rails are religion. And some people need those rails sometimes for their ball to stay in the straight and narrow and not go to the gutter. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but not too long ago, I had the best conversation with this Lyft driver. I try to get women drivers for my Lyft rides just because I feel a little bit safer. And I saw the stickers on her bumper, and then she had pink or lavender hair. I was like, oh, yes, definitely my vibe. We are definitely going to have great conversation, and I am going to enjoy this ride. And I was right. We ended up talking about one of those no-no subjects that you're not supposed to, religion. And I had a really good time. It wasn't awkward or anything like that. She shared how she went out with this one person, and this one person she didn't realize was really heavy on religion, and but it ended up getting in the way because he was like, well, you don't go to church, so my parents are not going to accept you and things like that. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, I was like, definitely no, that is a no. But they ended up breaking it off. And I just find it that sometimes people that are very religious, and now if the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it, it's not for you, it's not your shoe. But I have found that sometimes people that are religious, they have this superiority complex, and they tend to be super harsh and judgmental, and it's so contradictory to what their book says what not to do. And it, for me, as soon as I see contradiction and all of that, it's just, it gives me hypocrisy. It gives me like, hell no, I shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be having any conversations. I shouldn't be associating with you this much because it's just, it's heavy on my heart. It's heavy on my soul. So her and I was having this great conversation, and we was like, but there are some people that need it. She had this friend that was like, I need religion because if not, I do bad things. And yes, that is your thing, right? If that is what you need to stay out of the gutter, then have those bumpers on. Take pride in those bumpers. Go to church. Stay in the straight and narrow. Do your thing so that way you don't cause no harm. But I found that that's not always necessary. Just because somebody goes to church or somebody is religious does not automatically make them a good person. I have found that for me, once I learned the ethical triangle, I found out that I was doing that already because I have this ongoing dialogue in my head. I don't know if that's why I write things, but it's ongoing. So I constantly dissect what I say, or dissect my actions as well. And I carry a lot of guilt sometimes when I don't get that right. And I mull it over in my head and do like this after action review afterwards, especially if I feel like I hurt somebody, or I said the wrong thing, or I said an erroneous thing. And then I got to go back and fix it. But I found out that what I do is I usually do the whole thing, is it legal? So the ethical triangle, right? Is it legal? That's usually the easier thing to answer. And as you can see, that's usually the easier filter to do, because what's legal is necessarily not moral or not virtuous, right? So that's why that is usually the first one that I ask myself, is it legal? Is what I'm doing legal? That's an easy yes or no. Then is it moral, will be the second thing that I ask myself before I say or do something. And usually that is more like, for those that are religious, what would Jesus do? For those that are Christian, right? Whatever your higher power, whatever your higher being is, right? So you ask yourself that, what would Jesus do? Or what would Buddha do? Or what would Allah do? And so forth. So you can gauge if that is kind of like the right thing to do or the right thing to say. And then the next one, I use my grandma as an example. She was the lady that raised me and that instilled in me certain values of honesty, of respect, humbleness, being a helper, and things of that nature. So I usually ask myself, what would mama think about me if she finds out I did this or I said that? And I do those three filters, and that's when I'm like, maybe this is not the right thing to say or the right thing to do. And I have found that that really helps out. But some people is different, and that is okay because everybody is their own world and everybody is their own process. They have their own process going on, and that is okay. But what I'm saying is that if you need religion, go for it. But don't look down on those that don't use it in that sense, because they have other ways of getting after the same thing, of being good people, good, morally right people, that do well for themselves, for others, for Mother Nature, this earth that we all share together. That is okay as well, right?